There are 6 phrases that should make you pack your bags and leave immediately. Not tomorrow, not after another conversation, not after counselling. Immediately. These aren't just words, they're windows into how she really sees you. And once you hear them, you can't unhear them. Once you know what they really mean, staying becomes a choice to accept your own devaluation. Let me decode these relationship-ending phrases that too many men tolerate, thinking they're just how women talk, when they're actually declarations of contempt. Before we dive in, understand something crucial. These phrases aren't said in the heat of an argument by accident. They're calculated, tested, refined. She knows exactly what she's doing when she says them. She's watched how you react, measured your tolerance for disrespect, and calibrated her words for maximum impact. This isn't emotional overflow, it's emotional warfare. Phrase number 1. A real man would. The moment these words leave her mouth, you should be heading for the door. This isn't a statement. It's a manipulation tactic as old as relationships themselves. A real man would buy me that purse. A real man would handle all the bills. A real man wouldn't complain about my spending. A real man would let me go through his phone. Notice how it's never about character or values. It's always about compliance. This phrase exploits every man's deepest insecurity. Am I man enough? She knows that questioning your masculinity triggers something primal, something that makes you want to prove yourself. But here's the trap. The definition of real man changes based on what she wants in that moment. Today a real man buys jewellery. Tomorrow a real man doesn't need sex. Next week a real man doesn't need friends. The goalposts move because the game is rigged. I had a client whose girlfriend constantly used this phrase. A real man would support my dreams, she said, while refusing to work and calling shopping her passion. A real man would understand, she said, after cheating. A real man would forgive, she said, after destroying his property during an argument. He spent 3 years trying to become this real man before realizing the definition was simply a man who does whatever I want without question. The proper response to a real man would is simple. Then go find him. Don't argue, don't defend your manhood, don't try to prove anything. Someone who loved you wouldn't question your fundamental worth as a man to manipulate behaviour. They wouldn't use your gender identity as a weapon. The fact that she's willing to do this tells you everything about her character and nothing about yours. Phrase number 2, then why do I need you? This is the mask completely falling off. She just told you exactly how she sees you, as a utility, not a person. You're not a partner, you're a service provider. And apparently you're not providing enough service to justify your existence in her life. This phrase reveals a transactional mindset so profound that recovery is impossible. Think about the arrogance required to say this. She's essentially conducting a performance review on your value to her life, and you're failing. But relationships aren't employment. Love isn't supposed to be conditional on utility. When someone asks, "Why do I need you?" they're telling you they don't want you. They want what you provide, and the moment someone else provides it better, you're replaced. This phrase usually comes out when you can't or won't do something she demands. Can't afford the vacation she wants? Then why do I need you? Won't skip your mother's birthday for her friend's party? Then why do I need you? It's emotional terrorism designed to make you scramble to prove your worth. But someone who actually loved you would never question your fundamental value based on a single situation. A client heard this phrase when he lost his job. 8 years of marriage, 2 kids, and the moment his income stopped, his wife asked, "If you can't provide, why do I need you?" Not, "How can I help?" Not, "We'll get through this together." Her first thought was about his utility to her. He found a new job in 3 months, but he never forgot that revelation. They're divorced now, and he's with someone who sees him as a person, not a paycheck. The manipulation here is multi-layered. First, it reduces you to your functions. Second, it implies you're replaceable. Third, it suggests she's doing you a favour by keeping you around. Fourth, it demands you justify your existence. No healthy relationship includes someone having to prove why they deserve to exist in their partner's life. Your presence should be wanted, not justified by utility. Phrase number 3. I didn't ask you to. This might be the most soul-crushing phrase on this list. You do something thoughtful, caring, loving, and she dismisses it entirely. I didn't ask you to is the ultimate denial of your effort, care, and initiative. It's saying your autonomous acts of love are worthless unless specifically requested. It transforms you from a partner into an order fulfillment system. I've seen men destroyed by this phrase. Guy spends his Saturday fixing her car so she'll be safe. I didn't ask you to. Man surprises her with flowers after a tough week. I didn't ask you to. Husband takes initiative to handle the kids so she can rest. I didn't ask you to. Each time, his voluntary act of love is rejected, teaching him that initiative is punished, care is unwanted, effort is meaningless. This phrase does something particularly insidious. It erases gratitude from the relationship. Gratitude is the lubricant that makes relationships work. When someone stops appreciating what you do, they stop seeing you. You become invisible. Your efforts become expected. Your care becomes assumed. And once gratitude dies, love is already in the morgue. The psychological damage this causes is severe. Men are wired to provide, protect, and solve problems. When those efforts are met with, "I didn't ask you to," it's not just rejecting the action, it's rejecting the man's fundamental way of showing love. It's saying, the way you love is wrong, unwanted, and burdensome. That's not feedback, it's emotional annihilation. A man I counselled spent years hearing this phrase. Every gesture, every effort, every attempt to make his wife's life better was met with, "I didn't ask you to." He eventually stopped trying. Why bother? And when he stopped, she accused him of not caring anymore. The same efforts she rejected when given freely, she demanded when withheld. It wasn't about the acts themselves, it was about control. Phrase number 4, I'm PMSing. Now, before anyone starts typing angry comments, let me be crystal clear. PMS is real. Hormonal discomfort is real. Physical pain is real. I'm not dismissing women's biological reality. What I'm addressing is using PMS as a universal excuse for any and all bad behavior, disrespect, or cruelty. There's a massive difference between needing understanding for physical discomfort and using hormones as a free pass for emotional abuse. Here's the test. Does she only acknowledge PMS after she's done something horrible? Is it brought up as explanation or as immunity? Sorry I screamed at you for an hour, I'm PMSing. Sorry I threw your phone against the wall, I'm PMSing. Sorry I told your mother she's a terrible person, I'm PMSing. This isn't seeking understanding, it's avoiding accountability. I had a client whose girlfriend used PMS to justify absolutely anything cheating. PMS made her emotional and vulnerable, spending $3,000 on his credit card. PMS made her impulsive, telling his friends he was bad in bed. PMS made her mean. For 1 week every month, she had diplomatic immunity from consequences. That's not a relationship, it's a hostage situation with scheduled torture. The manipulation here is that you can't challenge it without looking like an insensitive jerk who doesn't understand women's bodies. But understanding biological discomfort doesn't mean accepting emotional abuse. Every adult is responsible for managing their own emotional regulation, regardless of what's happening hormonally. Men have testosterone fluctuations too, but I was having a high tea day isn't an excuse for punching walls. I counselled a man whose ex-girlfriend said this after 7 years together. I wasted my best years on you, she said at 32. But during those 7 years, he paid her student loans, supported her through 3 career changes, helped her through her father's death, and built a life together. Apparently, all of that was nothing compared to her best years. The narcissism required to see it this way is staggering. This phrase is often deployed when she realizes the relationship isn't heading where she wanted. Maybe she expected marriage and you're not ready. Maybe she thought you'd be richer by now. Maybe she assumed you'd change in ways you haven't. Instead of acknowledging these were her unexpressed expectations, she blames you for wasting her time by not becoming her fantasy. The proper response is to agree and leave. Yes, if being with you was a waste, then let's stop wasting time immediately. Don't argue about the value of your shared experiences. Don't list all you've done for her. Someone who sees your entire relationship as waste isn't going to be convinced by logic. They've already rewritten history to make themselves the victim. Phrase number 6. If you don't like it, go find someone else. This is the ultimate power play. She's so confident you have no options, so sure you won't leave, that she's literally daring you to go. This phrase only comes out when she believes she has leverage, financial, emotional, social, or familial. She thinks you're trapped and is rubbing your face in it. The arrogance here is breathtaking. She's essentially saying, I know you hate how I'm treating you, but we both know you won't do anything about it. It's not just dismissing your concerns, it's mocking your perceived powerlessness. She's betting everything on your weakness, your fear, your lack of options. It's the relationship equivalent of what are you going to do about it? This phrase often emerges when she's gained weight, stopped having sex, become disrespectful, or otherwise violated relationship expectations. Instead of addressing the issue, she deflects with this ultimatum. But notice, it's never said with sadness about potentially losing you. It's said with contempt, with confidence that you're too weak to actually leave. A client heard this when he complained about his wife's spending. She'd run up $30,000 in credit card debt on his accounts. When he confronted her, she said, "If you don't like how I spend, go find someone else." She knew he wouldn't leave because of the kids. She knew he feared divorce court. She was right. He stayed another 2 years of financial abuse before finally breaking. The tragedy is that many men hear this phrase and don't leave. They internalize it as proof they're stuck. But this phrase should be a gift. It's her telling you exactly what to do. She's literally giving you permission to find someone better. Take it. Call her bluff. Pack your things and go. The shock on her face when you actually leave is worth the price of admission. Here's what all 6 phrases have in common. They reveal a woman who doesn't see you as a person. You're a tool, a resource, a function, an accessory to her life. Your feelings don't matter. Your efforts don't count. Your needs are irrelevant. You exist to serve her purposes, and when you fail or refuse, you're defective and replaceable. These phrases also share another characteristic. They're tests. She's testing how much disrespect you'll tolerate, how much devaluation you'll accept, how small she can make you feel while you still stay. Each time you tolerate one of these phrases, you fail the test. You teach her that this behavior is acceptable, that you'll endure anything, that you have no boundaries. The societal conditioning that makes men tolerate this is strong. We're told that women are just more emotional, and we need to be understanding. We're told that relationships require compromise, which somehow always means men compromising. We're told that happy wife, happy life, as if our happiness is irrelevant. This conditioning keeps men in abusive situations thinking it's normal. But it's not normal, it's not acceptable, and you don't have to tolerate it. A woman who loves you wouldn't question your manhood to manipulate you, wouldn't evaluate your utility like your equipment, wouldn't dismiss your efforts with contempt, wouldn't use biology as an excuse for cruelty, wouldn't see your time together as waste, wouldn't dare you to leave. The damage these phrases do is cumulative. Each one chips away at your self-worth, your confidence, your sense of reality. You start believing maybe you're not a real man, maybe you're not providing enough value, maybe your efforts are worthless, maybe you deserve the treatment. This is how emotional abuse works. It makes you complicit in your own destruction. I've seen strong, successful men reduced to shells by these phrases. Men who run companies but can't stand up to their wives. Men who've served in combat but cower at their girlfriend's contempt. Men who would die for their families but are dying from their families instead. The psychological warfare these phrases represent is more damaging than most physical abuse. The solution isn't to argue when you hear these phrases. Don't defend yourself. Don't try to prove her wrong. Don't engage in the discussion she's trying to have. These phrases aren't invitations to dialogue, they're declarations of war. And the only winning move in this war is not to play. Leave. Walk away. Choose yourself. When you leave, something interesting happens. Suddenly she remembers your value. Suddenly she appreciates what you did. Suddenly she wants to work on things, but this isn't real change, it's panic at losing control. The contempt hasn't disappeared, it's just temporarily hidden. Give her another chance, and these phrases will return, usually worse than before. The recovery from hearing these phrases takes time. You'll doubt yourself. Question if you overreacted. Wonder if maybe you should have tried harder. This is normal. It's the aftermath of emotional abuse. Your brain is trying to make sense of someone who claimed to love you saying things designed to destroy you. It doesn't compute because healthy people can't imagine being that cruel to someone they love. But here's the truth that will set you free. Someone who says these things doesn't love you. Love doesn't question your worth as a human. Love doesn't reduce you to utility. Love doesn't dismiss your efforts. Love doesn't use biology as an excuse for cruelty. Love doesn't see time together as waste. Love doesn't dare you to leave. What you experienced wasn't love. It was exploitation disguised as relationship. The standards you accept determine the life you live. If you tolerate these phrases, you're accepting a life of disrespect, devaluation, and emotional abuse. You're teaching not just her, but yourself, that this is what you deserve. Every time you stay after hearing these phrases, you're voting for your own suffering. But when you refuse to tolerate them, everything changes. You might lose that specific relationship, but you gain something invaluable: self-respect. You send a message to the universe about what you will and won't accept. You create space for someone who actually values you to enter your life. You choose dignity over dependency. I've worked with hundreds of men who've heard these phrases. The ones who stayed got worse treatment over time. The disrespect escalated, the contempt deepened. The phrases got crueler, but the ones who left, they found peace. Many found better partners. All found themselves. The temporary pain of leaving was nothing compared to the permanent pain of staying. There's a lie our culture tells men, that we need to endure anything for love. That suffering in relationships proves commitment. That tolerating disrespect shows strength. But real strength is having standards. Real commitment is to your own well-being. Real love doesn't require you to accept emotional abuse. The fear that keeps men tolerating these phrases is usually about being alone. But being alone is infinitely better than being with someone who sees you as less than human. Solitude is peaceful. Contempt is torture. An empty bed beats a bed shared with someone who despises you. No relationship is better than an abusive relationship. Some men worry about the kids, thinking staying in an abusive situation is better for them. It's not. Your children are learning what relationships look like from watching yours. Every time they see their mother disrespect you and you accept it, they're learning that's normal. Your sons learn to accept abuse. Your daughters learn to deliver it. Leaving teaches them that self-respect matters. The financial fears are real but overblown. Yes, divorce is expensive. Yes, you might pay alimony or child support. But what's the cost of staying? The therapy you'll need. The health problems from chronic stress. The career damage from being emotionally destroyed. The years of a life stress steals. Leaving might cost money, but staying costs everything. Here's my challenge to you. Make these 6 phrases your red lines. The moment you hear any of them, start planning your exit. Not negotiating, not counselling, not hoping for change. Leaving. Because someone who says these things has already left the relationship emotionally. They're just keeping you around for utility while destroying you for sport. You deserve better than being someone's utility. Better than being questioned and tested. Better than having your efforts dismissed. Better than being blamed for someone else's choices. Better than being dared to find happiness elsewhere. You deserve someone who sees you as a person, values you as a partner, and treats you with basic human respect. The transformation that happens when you refuse to tolerate these phrases is profound. You stop attracting women who would say them. You start recognizing disrespect earlier. You develop an allergy to contempt. Your standards rise, and mysteriously, people rise to meet them. The universe responds to the energy you put out, and refusing to accept disrespect changes your entire reality. Remember, these phrases aren't mistakes or slips of the tongue. They're revelations of how she really sees you. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time, don't wait for the 2nd, 3rd, or 10th time. Don't hope they didn't mean it. Don't assume you misunderstood. Trust what you heard and respond accordingly. The most powerful thing you can do when hearing these phrases is to simply say, okay, and then leave. Don't argue, don't explain, don't justify. Just acknowledge that you've heard her loud and clear and then act on that information. The calm acceptance followed by decisive action is more powerful than any argument you could make. Your time, energy, and emotion are finite resources. Every moment you spend with someone who says these phrases is a moment you're not spending. Finding someone who would never dream of saying them. Every ounce of energy you waste on someone who sees you as utility is energy. You're not investing in someone who sees you as irreplaceable. The men who escape these toxic dynamics often say the same thing. I wish I'd left sooner. Not one says, I wish I'd stayed longer and tried harder. The regret is never about leaving. It's about tolerating the intolerable for as long as they did learn from their experience. Don't waste years learning what others have already learned. If you're in a relationship where these phrases are common, you're not in a relationship, you're in an extraction. She's extracting value while injecting poison. She's taking what you provide while destroying who you are. This isn't love. It's not even like. It's usage with a side of contempt. The good news is that women who would never say these phrases exist. Women who appreciate effort, respect masculinity, take accountability, manage their emotions, value time together, and want you to stay because they love you, not because you're useful. But you'll never find them while tolerating someone who speaks to you with contempt. Your assignment, if you're brave enough, memorize these 6 phrases. Make them your non-negotiables. The moment you hear them, recognize them for what they are. Relationship enders, not conversation starters. Don't try to fix someone who sees you this way. Don't try to prove your worth to someone who questions it. Just leave and find someone who already knows your value. The life waiting for you on the other side of these toxic phrases is worth the temporary discomfort of leaving. Peace instead of constant conflict. Appreciation instead of contempt. Partnership instead of exploitation. Love instead of usage. Respect instead of ridicule. It exists, but only for men brave enough to refuse the alternative. Stop tolerating the intolerable. Stop accepting disrespect as the price of companionship. Stop letting someone else's dysfunction become your life sentence. These 6 phrases are gifts. They tell you exactly who she is and exactly what you should do. Listen to them, believe them, and act accordingly. Your life is too short and too valuable to spend with someone who questions your manhood, evaluates your utility, dismisses your efforts, excuses their cruelty, regrets your time together, or dares you to leave. You deserve someone who celebrates your masculinity, appreciates your contributions, takes responsibility for their actions, values your history, and fights to keep you. The moment you stop accepting these phrases, you start becoming the man you were meant to be. Not because you changed, but because you finally stopped letting someone convince you that you needed to. You were never the problem. The problem was staying with someone who spoke to you like you were. I want to hear from you guys. Which of these phrases have you heard? Which one hit closest to home? How did you respond and what happened after? Drop your experiences in the comments. Let's help other men recognize these red flags and find the courage to refuse them. Like this video if it opened your eyes, subscribe. If you want more unfiltered truth about relationship dynamics. And remember, you teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Stop tolerating disrespect and watch how quickly your life improves.